Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. It's been what a Thursday night in Major League Baseball. Let's talk about some quick highlights. How about Eddie Rosario coming off the bench last night, delivering a 3-run bomb as the Twins come from behind, defeat the Athletics. Rosario was getting a day of rest, he thought, until he heard the call of duty, if you will, in the 7th inning. He came to the plate. There were 2 ducks on that pond, and he quickly launched a petite offering way deep into the Minnesota night, let's say. The blast gave the Twins a 1-run lead. They kept that lead. In fact, they added to it with 2 more home runs in the 8th inning. Rosario's had a great year so far, fantasy and reality, even though he's been hurt a little bit. 284 average, a 312 on-base percentage, a 533 slugging percentage. It puts his OPS around 850, 21 home runs, 64 RBIs. As I said, he spent 3 weeks on the injured list with a sprained ankle recently, but he seems to be back in the groove. There you go. Zach Davies for the Brewers. He scattered 5 hits, 3 walks over 7 innings on Thursday. He allowed just 1 run as the Brewers, they needed that win. They win 5-1. How about Strasburg last night for the Nationals? Wow. Just got a few of these nuggets to start with. He allowed 3 runs in 5 1/3 innings, but that's not the real story. Strasburg turned Babe Ruth. 3 for 3, a home run, 5 RBIs as Washington annihilates the Braves. And don't you just know that the Nats fans are loving what they're seeing these days? Not just Strasburg, but the whole team. Strasburg, the star last night, okay? They scored 13 runs. He led off the 3rd with a single, came around to score on an Adam Eaton triple. Later in the same inning, he had a 3-run homer, and then he drove in 2 more runs with another hit in the 5th. Strasburg now sits at 12-4, a 3.52 ERA, a 109 whip, 154 strikeouts to only 32 walks, and he's pitched 127 innings. Could this be the year that Strasburg makes it through a complete season and doesn't get injured? Yeah, Chappie, that was the Twins' first walk-off homer of the year, or put them in the lead. The Nationals are winning, and how about the Astros? Just about the time you think, hey, what's going on in Houston? Well, I can tell you what's going on in Houston. They're winning baseball games. And Alex Bregman, was a main culprit for why last night. He went 2 for 2, a solo homer, 2 walks, 3 runs scored, 6-2 win over the Angels. And here I go on Tuesday pumping up the Angels, and they haven't won since. I better quit talking about the Angels if you're an Angels fan, right? Albert Pujols left the game last night with a left tight hamstring. Matt Thay spelled him at first base in the 8th inning. He had gone 1 for 3 with a single prior to that, so he is day-to-day. There's a story out of NBC Sports in Philadelphia. Jim Salisbury reports that the Phillies are looking into trading for Zach Greinke. Could Greinke find brotherly love in Philly this summer? Only now 12 days to go before the trade deadline is no longer a deadline. It's past 12 days, and the Phillies, as we're going to look at in just a moment when we look at the standings, they're in need of all the help they can get, right? Matt Chapman sat out yesterday to be back in the lineup on Friday. A sore ankle. He had fouled a ball off his ankle Wednesday night against the Mariners. And then Nick Senzel. An MRI on his injured hamstring came back clean. They think he'll avoid the injured list, but we all know Senzel has had injury problems throughout his short career. So we'll see how it goes. Good morning, everybody. Those are just a few nuggets before we get into standings and scores. The chat room is full this morning. Let's see, Damazins, this is not a replay from last night's show now. We are definitely live, and glad you're with us. Not only is Damazins here, Andrea's in the Roto Lady, Beer Man, Corona Cyclosis, Cam, Cha-Cha, Damazins, DK Loosh, Easy, Kill, Jack, Youngblood, Lou Landers, Malpow, Patrick, Phil Chappie, that guy, Timothy Hooker, Unholy Toledo, and welcome to everybody as we go into a Friday. Only one more weekend left in July. Wow, the season is just flying by. Talk about the standings in just a moment, but before I do that, I got to talk about that Giant game last night. Wow. Okay, did you stay up and watch it? If you're an East Coast kind of person like I am, and I am, it's very rare that I'll stay up and watch a game. But for some reason, first of all, Bumgarner's pitching last night. And he's been the talk of so much trade speculation. We talked about it yesterday during this same hour, the 9 o'clock hour. What are the Giants going to do? I talked about it Tuesday with Phil Chappie on our 9 p.m. show. Could they make a trade? Are they traders? Well, look at what happened last night. First of all, it was an epic game. 4 hours and 47 minutes. It goes extra innings. The opener of a series with the Mets. The Giants on a win streak. In the extra frame, Pete Alonso comes up in the 10th inning, hits a home run. The Mets go up 2-1. So we go to the bottom of the 10th. The Giants have a runner on second. Brandon Crawford's at the plate, trying to probably get the runner over. There's no outs. Instead, he hits an opposite field double over the left fielder's head, Davis, playing left field for the Mets. Bounces off the wall. The run scores. Crawford doubles. He's at second. Now the game is tied at 2. Donovan Solano comes up. The Mets bring Davis in from left field, put him as another infielder. So here's what we've got. You've got Solano, a right-handed batter. You've got 3 infielders on the left side. You've got 2 infielders on the right side. He gets a base hit, drills it between the first and second baseman. Crawford scores. The Giants win. Dramatic fashion. I said 11. I meant 16 innings. What did I say? 11? Sorry about that. A 16-inning win at Oracle Park last night. That's how it ended. But Bumgarner, he was nothing short of incredible. Thank you, Malpal. I just read my notes wrong. Paged it right a little neater. I don't know how I could get a 1 out of a 6. Anyway, I didn't loop it too well, I guess. 16 innings. Bumgarner, though, pitched 9 innings. He allowed 1 run on 5 hits, struck out 6, and only threw 94 pitches in doing it. Now, that was his first 9-inning outing since the 2016 National League wildcard game, when he, oh, by the way, shut out the Mets to carry the Giants into the next round. Bumgarner over his last 5 starts. Now, remember, it seems like, do you guys feel like Bumgarner's like 35? He pitched in the 2010, 2012, 2014 World Series. Seems like he did. Time kind of blurs that. We know he's a World Series hero, but he's only 29 years old. And the left-hander, check this out, a 1.55 ERA with 34 strikeouts over his last 29 innings, and that covers 5 starts. DK Luce, you're right. It's Bochy's last year, too. And the Giants seem to have found something. And I compared them, maybe prematurely, but I compared them to the 88 Dodgers. Remember Orel Hershiser and the year he had in 88? And how he got hot in the summer and stayed hot the rest of the year? And it propelled the Dodgers, who weren't that statistically great a team, who were underdogs against the Mets, who were decisive underdogs against the A's, but they won the World Series. Call them underdogs, but I call them world champs. And that's the great thing about baseball. I'm certainly not predicting the Giants to win the World Series. I don't even know what the odds are on them winning, but if I put down $10 right now, I've lost $10 on other things. Just saying. He's been, Bumgarner, the talk of the town in terms of trades, but are the Giants going to be eager to move him now that they are certainly wild card players. They've won 6 in a row. They've won 13 out of 15. They're in the thick of the National League wild card. We'll talk about that momentarily. And only one game below 500 at 48 and 49, 97 games in. And that's the first time they've been only one game under 500 since April the 1st. What's wrong, Chappie? I'm trying to figure out what's going on with your picking up. Don't have the bandwidth. So you're not hearing me. I guess you'll have to go back on demand, Chappie, and hear it. Anyway. Now, earlier this month, the Giant president of baseball operations, Farhan Zaidi, he did not commit in what he was going to do ahead of the July 31 trade deadline. He only said earlier in July that the club's level of competitiveness would influence his eventual course of action. Well, guess what? They're competitive. Let's take a look at the standings. National League, since we're talking about the Giants. And you're right, Malpal. The Nationals and the Giants are hot. Do you remember me saying to you guys in mid-June, they were talking about trading Strasburg, and I said, don't count out the Nationals. The pitching is too good. The hitting is coming around. Well, I was right, maybe for a change, but I was right. So, Atlanta, 58 and 40. They've lost 3 in a row. Their run differential now is plus 46. They lead the Nationals now by only 5.5 games. The Nationals' run differential only 4 less than Atlanta's at 42. And of course, last night, the Nationals walloped the Braves in Atlanta 13-4. A big start to a series, a 4-game set. And if you're Washington, you got to be thinking, let's sweep. And from what I'm reading, Strasburg pitching last night, Scherzer is scheduled to pitch Sunday. Sanchez and Corbin in between. The box score, the Braves. Acuna went 1 for 5. Swanson went 1 for 3. Freeman 1 for 4. Markakis 2 for 4. Albies 1 for 4. McCann 2 for 4. Camargo came on as a pinch hitter, remained in the game playing shortstop for Swanson, going 2 for 3. Markakis hit his 9th homer off McGowan in the 8th inning when the game was way out of hand. Wright started the game for the Braves. 2 2/3 innings and gave up 7 earned, walked 3 hits. Toussaint came on and he added gasoline to the fire. Pitched 2 1/3, 4 more hits, 3 more walks, 3 more earned runs. By the 5th inning, the Nationals, well, they had a 10-1 lead. So how did they do it? Well, a lot of players contributed. Turner went 2 for 6. Eaton 2 for 6. Rendon 3 for 5 and a walk. Soto, he went 0 for 3, but he walked 3 times and scored 2 runs. Zimmerman went 2 for 5. Dozier went 2 for 3. Robles went 2 for 5. Strasburg, as I said earlier, went 3 for 3 with 5 RBIs. Rendon 2 doubles. Eaton hit a triple. Strasburg's homer was the only home run they hit last night. The bullpen came on, held the Braves over the last 3 2/3 innings to only 1 run and 2 hits. And as we look at what's going on today between the two teams, Washington and Atlanta, Corbin, as I said, will go today. Teheran will pitch for the Braves. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm going to mix this in a little bit as we go. The Braves have had, the Nationals have had great success against Teheran. Donaldson's gone 5 for 7 with a homer. Camargo has gone 4 for 11 with a homer. Swanson has gone 3 for 8 against him with a home